Yo, what's going on, everybody? How's it hanging? How's it happening? You guys know who it is. It's Kevin from the Chord Progression Podcast, brought to you by My Song Day Rock 2000. So today, welcome to everyone who is listening to this episode for the first time, or also for the many other times you might have listened to this. Thank you guys for coming by. Thank you for listening to this episode number 52. Technically not the 1 year mark because, well, I've done a couple of special episodes in there. So I think the 1 year mark's starting to come up, though. I got to take a look when we first started this. I know it was in February or March of 2019. I just can't remember exactly when, but I'll do something for, the 1 year anniversary show. Alrighty, well, I got a good amount of stuff to talk about today. As if you're watching the video right now, you can tell I've going to be talking about Antiflag because, well, I got the Antiflag shirt on. I think cursed Antiflag shirt on. You guys know the stories. The 2 times I've worn it 2 concerts, and I've gotten busted up in the eye on both occasions. But both times I wore it were my 2 favorite concerts of 2019. So it's like, what's the best way to do it? It's like, you're going to have a great time, but you're going to end up having to pay for it somewhere with the shirt. So, we're going to be talking about that. I got a couple other things we can go through. But first, I want to go through my shameless plugs. So, of course, the shameless plug section is something that we like to do, which is all about, getting ads and sponsorships. But don't really have anything outside of that. But I do want to mention rock music merch. Go search it up on Google, rock music merch. Our friend Andrew Schuler is trying to help make some good old merch just so you guys can wear it. We'll promote it on here as well. Actually, a free plug for this one because Andrew Schuler's done a lot for us and helping us out, trying to get us sponsors and helping us grow the page. So he's got stuff like, not enough guitars. If you watch the video, I'll put the pictures up there. And I missed Warp Tour and Mood with the dial turned all the way up to, please tell me it's to 11. It is to 11, yes! So go check that out. I will put a link for it in the description so you guys can go check that out. But outside of that, with the My Song Day Rock 2000 Day stuff, go follow all of our stuff on all of our platforms. So follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. So Facebook, anytime anything's released, that's where you're going to see it is on Facebook. So Song of the Day releases, like the 30-second preview for the Song of the Day release is going to be on Facebook. The podcast preview videos are going to be on there as well, and the YouTube announcements are going to be on there as well. So that's all Facebook. Twitter, you're going to get all that stuff as well. Plus, you can talk to us a lot easier because that's what Twitter is built for. Instagram is our biggest platform. You will get the 30-second preview of each song of the day, but then you'll see other posts that you can talk to us. Like this past week, I did stuff where it was, who's the most influential band in punk rock since the year 2000 because, well, it was punk rock week at My Song Day Rock 2000 Day. Basically because of Antiflag's new album, and I'm like, we're going to play off with that. We had some things on there. I had a big one where I asked people, take your pick, and I love doing these. It was Foo Fighters or Queens of the Stone Age, and tell us why. And man, we had a lot of good comments on that one. I was really happy with that. All the engagement was just flying on that one. But then you can also watch our IGTV videos, which is our behind the scenes look at what we're doing here at My Song Day Rock 2000 to today. It's basically like a 1 week vlog, but I'm calling it a TV show because, we're putting out episodes once a week. And also, join us for our Instagram live streams every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Central Time. And that's an hour where you guys can just come and just talk to me, talk about music with me, talk whatever you feel like. It doesn't matter. We get in some wacky conversations, but it's all driven by you, the fans. So, yeah. And on TikTok, we just do fun stuff. So, links for everything in the description below. Subscribe to our YouTube channel because you'll find the podcast videos on YouTube. But then that's also where you're going to find our album reviews. You're going to find all the other fun videos that we do, the year-end awards and stuff. You're going to find all that. So, subscribe to that. With the Chord Progression Podcast here, you can listen to on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, and, of course, watching it on YouTube. And lastly, we have an Amazon Alexa skill where you can listen to the whole entire Song of the Day selection up to that point. So that's the best way to, this is this whole entire project. It's a great way to rediscover old bands that you once loved, discover new bands you didn't know you're going to like, but you liked them, and, start, expanding your horizons in music. And one of my favorites is Small Bands Here, where we bring in these smaller bands and feature their stuff on Saturday, so you guys can get to take a look at the bands that are trying to be up and coming and the next big thing in rock music, especially as we get into the new decade 2020. So follow us on all that stuff to get your rock music feel here from my Sunday Rock 2000 today. But that is enough for the shameless plugs because, well, shameless plugs are not, I'm spent with those. But of course, let's get into the bulk of this, the meat and potatoes, what you've been waiting for. And you guys have known me for a while, and you guys have known that I've put out things where it's like, I'm a big punk rock fan. I love punk rock. I love everything about it. I just love the rough tenacity of it where it's not polished and it's just in your face and rough, and it just builds a community, and I absolutely love every bit of it. Now, the reason we did Punk Rock Week again was because one of my favorite punk bands, Antiflag, ended up coming out with their album 2020 Visions on Friday the 17th. And if you can take a look at the album cover, I mean, you probably have seen it, especially when we posted it, the new album alert and the Song of the Day choice for that Friday when it came out, because I'll always put something for a new album that came out on that Friday if there's a new album that I like or actually want to talk about. So I picked their song Unbreakable, and you can see the album cover, and it's 2020 Visions, got the Antiflag, and it's got Donald Trump on there, because they're going to go off on that. We'll get into that a little bit more, but I remember when I first saw that Antiflag was coming out with their new album, I was actually pretty stoked, and let me tell you all why I was pretty stoked on that one specifically, because I've heard Antiflag way before when I was a kid, because I wanted to make sure this was back when I was playing like Madden 07. Their song, This Is the End, this is the end for you, my friend. I can't forgive. I won't forget. Something like that. It was on Madden 07. That was the first time I actually heard Antiflag. That was actually one of the first times I heard Rise Against too, and like a band like AFI, because they had Summer Shutter on there. Magic Romance with their song Monsters. Atreyu had a song on there as well. Like that discography, but that soundtrack was fantastic. And then I started listening to more Antiflag as this whole entire project started. And taking a look at what Antiflag, I mean, they recently were coming off of two kind of albums, and one was American Spring, which came out in 2015. It peaked at number 5 on the Billboard Top Hard Rock Albums back in 2015, and the critical response was very average on this one. I took a look at Metacritic, Alt Press, and Pop Matters, what they averaged out on this one for American Spring, their 10th full-length album, and they gave it a 5.5 out of 10 on average, which isn't all that good. Their follow-up, American Fall, which I got the shirt for, absolutely, actually really like this shirt. It peaked at number 17 on the top hard rock album, so much lower than American Spring. The Criminals is one of my favorite Antiflag songs. It's right off of American Fall. I actually absolutely love it. The critical response from Metacritic, exclaiming rock sound, took an average about a 7 out of 10. And if you've ever seen any of like the YouTube videos I've done, you can see a Rise Against poster for the Morning in America tour that happened in 2018, and they had 2 supporting acts there, Antiflag and AFI. Now, I wanted to go to that show when it was at Red Rocks just because, well, I'm not even from here. I just wanted to go out to Denver and just go see a show at Red Rocks. I'm like, well, why not go see Rise Against? And Antiflag would have been there. That would have been the first night I had seen them. So that's really not something that I would be like, oh, darn, I missed it. But I mean, I was like, darn, I missed it. But then I did end up getting to see Antiflag again, or for the first time, I should say, in September of 2019 here in Milwaukee. They were with Pennywise, and that was a fun show to be at, especially with Antiflag. I thought Antiflag had the best set out of the bunch, and it was awesome. Now, they announced that 2020 Vision was going to come out, I think it was on October 7, 2019, the day it was going to come out. They announced a European tour and then the first single for the album, which I believe was Hate Conquers All. Then later the month, the band released another single, announced what the artwork was going to look like, and you saw the Donald Trump artwork because it was a direct shot of President Donald Trump. This is not surprising from Antiflag at all. They have an incredible anti-Trump stance, and even when that show I saw that, they were very much on that. Again, played absolutely phenomenally. Now, this is one thing I always have to look at too, especially with punk bands, because their political views and my political views are never going to match up eye to eye. We're never going to see things the way they're. And taking a look at Antiflag, they've been historically, politically on the left, and they show it in their activism and in their music. Now, myself personally, I'm basically like, I take a look at each issue, and then whatever I feel like on the issue, I just go with it. I don't really align one way or the other. I'm just kind of on my own. But looking at Antiflag and some of the stuff that they do, the activism, they've started a number of activism groups. One has been protesting No Child Left Behind for allowing military recruiters access to student personal details. So they've started a group around that. They've supported the Occupy Wall Street protesters back in 2011 by playing an acoustic set for them on Wall Street. And they have vocally supported organizations such as Democracy Now!, which is a news site, PETA, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, they're against animal mistreatment, Amnesty International, focusing on human rights, and Greenpeace, of course, focusing on environmental protection. Now, the release of 2020 Vision also included names of Republican lawmakers who have accepted large NRA donations to protest mass shootings and advocate for, on their website as an advocation for gun control from Antiflag. Now, when I went to my review, this is what I said. I am not going to let their views on politics have an effect on the album rating because we all have different opinions. And even though I may disagree with some, I may agree with them, I'm just not going to let that really take hold and be like, oh, I don't like this song because you're talking about something I don't like. No, what I took a look at with their political stance was I wanted to see how they took that energy behind it and put it into the music. So that was taken into consideration, the political passion, the rage, the energy it takes in the music as it directly affects it. I wasn't going to look at, what they were really, talking about in that song. I was going to take a look at how it affected the song. So let's get going. We're going song by song with Antiflag. But first, so you guys get a little bit of a take on it, I was taking a look at a couple of different reviews, and Kerrang put out one. And I will give you Kerrang as what they said at the end of it, and then we'll go through it song by song, and I'll give you mine. So Kerrang said it's a heavy matter, but what saves 2020 Vision's bleak, pissed off themes from a mulchy depression is an unbeatable wave of optimism. It is feel-good rally camaraderie that keeps the songs listenable. Don't Let the Bastards Get You Down, for example, radiates with a whiskey warm energy in the face of constant fear-mongering. Seen Again with an unbreakable promises that what doesn't kill us now will lead us back from hell. It's an upbeat outlook that has always been integral to Antiflag's positive protests, and it's why, particularly given the modern feeling of uncertainty, their music still feels as relevant and important as ever. They gave it a 3 out of 5, so you guys know me, I always give it out of 10, so that would have been a 6 out of 10. Now let's go into the Kevin review of 2020 Vision by Antiflag. So we're going to go song by song. I'll give you the rating, I'll tell you what I like about it, what I dislike about it, and then overall encompassing what I thought about it. So we'll start out with song number 1, which is Hate Conquers All. It's one of the singles. And when you first hear it, right away, it opens with this power chord and gives way to a speech from Donald Trump, or President Donald Trump, talking about how in the past, protesters would protest, and based on the response from either the government or others on the other side, they would not easily protest again. And it really sets up Antiflag for this anthem against the president with raw political emotion. I'm like, this is setting up perfectly for it. You get that power chord, and then you're going into something like that. So then the song opens up with lead singer Justin and Chris number 2, the bassist. They're chanting, hate conquers all. They got a whole chant thing going on, showing that the song is about hate will end up being, the overall downfall of this establishment. And that opening chant, I thought was the perfect way to start out the album because it brings people into it with that chant. Very much like Fever 333 did back last year with their Strength in Numbers album when they started out with something like, the little intro, and then with Burn It Down. I loved how they started out, and I'm like, this is a great start. It's really good for concerts, and I was supposed to go see him at the end of 2019, but as the year-end awards were coming up and everything had to be put together for that, yeah, I was struggling mightily with that because, again, this is still a one-man operation. So, unfortunately, I had to miss it. And I'm still kind of kicking myself for that because I would have loved to have seen this song live. So, following those initial chords and through the first verse, the drum work is simple. And those heavy power chords are used from the guitar. And I really do like the move on this one specifically because it meshes well with that political protest. Because it's got that backbone from the drums. And the band is going for that very classic punk rock sound. So it's rougher, it's grittier, and it's, it ends up bringing more people into it, especially with those chants. The vocals from Justin, though, are built for this song because he keeps it much more rough overall with a lot of powerful emotions going through this song, basically creating it like a protest song. And with punk rock, I'm a fan of the move. So overall, with Hate Conquers All, I really like how this song takes the minimalistic and powerful punk styling to really drive the protest anthem that they're going for here. And we know, again, with their left-wing views, the anger in the press was going to come out, and Justin's vocals really made it happen on this track. So far, so good. Now we're going to go to number 2, which was It Went Off Like a Bomb. So, The song starts out, they jump right into the chorus, a little bit of a smoother punk rock sound compared to the previous Hey Conquers All, because Justin starts out with, it went off like a bomb. Like, you just get right into the chorus. The instrumentation from the drums and guitars on It Went Off Like a Bomb specifically are held more, it's held back a tad more. And this really gives the song less of that gruff feel and more of that, that polished punk rock feel. However, the song still has that rapid pace and somewhat gruff sound the Antiflag has become known for in their style of punk rock. It's not as like polished punk rock as like some things I've heard from bands like Against Me or Rise Against, but kind of keeping it a little bit more rapid. The instrumentation drawn back a little bit, and the vocals to keep that to keep the rapid pace. I thought it was the right move to really drive the angst of the song. And the guitar solo brings in more of that gruff sound to the song. Really nice mix. Now, Justin's vocals on this track is well done overall. They're drawn back more than, Hate Conquers All, where they're not as forceful, but they keep that like rough and gruff punk style overall and sound. That's until the chorus comes in where he just kind of ups the ante. Because that last chorus comes in and he just lets it all out in a great buildup. So overall, in a song that expresses the band's anti-war visions, because yes, that's what It Went Off Like a Bomb was, the angst on it is different than Hate Conquers All. However, it provides another great start to the album because you're getting two different kinds of angst and you're getting done in separate ways. And I really like what they did here. Number 3, we have the titular song, which is 2020 Vision. My vision ain't 2020 anymore, trust me. Nearsighted, like, I can't be beat. Farsighted, though, yeah, not the best, but that's a different story for another day. 2020 Vision, the titular song, number 3, it expresses, my God, Kevin, are you creating words now? So it expresses this vision of the hate that the band sees in the world going by the wayside, and the band puts it out with a much more hopeful tone of the song. So what Kerrang was saying, where they're having much more of a positive approach and more positive upbeat sound. 2020 Vision, the song, really puts it out there. The drumming is nowhere near as hard on this track overall because it powers down that backbeat to really, kind of provide that angst a little bit, but a lot more drum back, so you're not getting a full force of it. The guitar work also does the same thing, where they kind of power down the backbeat to really power down the angst. And they provide us with a much more polished and smoother sound overall. And I really do like the mix-up overall on this one because, you got the rougher style with the first two. Now this one's a little bit more polished, or a lot more polished, say. But given how the album is and how the band takes its politics, I was expecting, more angst to be on something with a song like this. Justin's vocals are also kept a lot more hopeful as well on this one. And they do have that little more rougher and gruffer sound them like they usually do. There's a lot less raw energy compared to the other two songs we've looked at, such as Hey Conquers All and It Went Off Like a Bomb. So overall, I do agree with the tone they actually went with on 2020 Vision because it shows more range from Antiflag and it really plays. And they play it correctly, especially going with that, more upbeat style with the meaning of the song. However, I thought a rougher and angrier style would have been a gamble worth taking on something like this. So we're through 3. Let's go to number 4. We've got another single called Christian Nationalist. So I actually took a look to make sure I got the meaning of the song right. So according to Justin, I think it's Justin Sane, I believe his name is, yes. So the song was written about wealthy and powerful people using religion and cultism to justify policies of oppression and inequality, targeting the most vulnerable people in a society, and how those politics are being used today still, specifically by right-wing politicians. That's where he was going with it. And this song really begins rather simple, simple guitar work, power chords, but Justin's vocals seem to have more of, again, an upbeat tone. So they're not going as gruff or as, more, forceful or angsty on something like Hey Conquers All, but they're going with more of an upbeat tone. After the first chorus, they rely heavily, on the whoa-ohs, which I can actually see working in a live show arena, but with how heavy they go here, I kind of found it a little bit off-putting, even though Antiflag is really well known for something like that. It's just, at times, I just don't want to see it used as a crutch all the time, and on Christian Nationalists using those woes, especially at the end of the chorus and the post-chorus, I thought that definitely felt a little bit more of a crutch overall. The guitar and the bass work on this track are very much consistent. They're throughout the whole entire thing. They really don't change up. I believe it takes away from the song actually because it just ends up saying, rather flatline, kind of like flat in the corners, robs the song of potential momentum building within itself. So when I talk about that, I remember when during my year-end awards, one of my least favorite songs of the year was, God, what was it? I can't think of this song. It was one of the Black Veil Brides, The Vengeance, where it was just everything just seemed so like too consistently flat, where there wasn't anything else outside of it that really kind of was off-putting. I thought that kind of happened here as well on Christian Nash. The drumming attempts to actually make the song fresh throughout itself, especially in the bridge and the last chorus. And after a while, as I was coming back to the song, because I think I listened to the album like 7 or 8 times before I actually started writing this stuff, I said, this is where I'm really coming back to on this song specifically is the drumming, because it isn't overly complex, but it changes at times when you need it, and it fills in at the proper moments. So overall, this is actually my least favorite of the singles because it stayed so flat going through the corners when potentially making a more complex punk song may have been needed here. But then again, we'll see what happens. Now we're going to get to Don't Let the Bastards Get You Down. Don't let the boy but they hear that sound. Whoa, don't let the bastards get you down. This is song number 5, and a song that's really about not letting the other end of the political spectrum. On this song, specifically, the band is referring to the right. They don't let me get the best of you. So they take that mix of punk rock and with a more upbeat 90s rock. So again, what Kerrang was talking about with that, more positive feel, definitely on this. So the chords hit by the guitars in this one do not drag out far at all. So they're very quick, very simple. It's like they hit and it's on to the next one. It's like da 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 da. So it's not like da. It's like da 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 da. And this gives the song a more interesting classical rock feel that can be really felt in the verses. Like it's not overly complex. It's just like simply, go back to the 70s, go back to 60s with something like that. The chorus is more of that classic chant style as well. And this one will be perfect for a live show because a lot of the fans and the band to really chant along together and sing along together with a smile on their face because of the upbeat. Now, when it comes to Justin's vocals, I actually wasn't the biggest fan of this one, as I kind of thought they flatlined as well. There was really no variation of vocals right until the very end of the song. And I bring this up because this song could have used just a slight change of vocals as the song went on, kind of build up that little bit of punk rock angst. Overall, I didn't care all that much for the song. At first, I've been growing on me a little bit more, but it isn't bad, though. It's not a bad song. I think it's just rather flat in comparison to some others on the album. Now we're going to go to the one that's right smack dab in the middle, and it was one of the singles, Unbreakable. Now, Unbreakable was the song that we put out for our Song of the Day selection on the day that Antiflag's 2020 Vision came out. And this song sings about those who are being oppressed against in any capacity, or, that they're not to be broken. And they have all the strength in the world to rise up and get through it all better than they ever were. And this could be used politically, or this could be used as a personal mantra where you can get past whatever's keeping you down. And I'm going to go with number 2 on this one for me personally, because I really like that. This has to be my favorite of the single as well, because the guitar work isn't working strictly with all the power chords. It's giving the song an overall fresh feeling compared to the others so far on the list. It's this one's rather fresh, Rotten Tomatoes certified fresh. So it still has that punk rock sound, but again, it's more evolved from the roots of punk rock, similar to what Rise Against works with. And I think that's one of the reasons why I really like the song, was because it was something very similar to what I could feel like when I listen to Rise Against. The construction of the vocal pattern does not show a lot of range, but it shows a lot more passion in victory. And I mean that as like Justin's vocals, they have the passion, but it's less about the anger, the unrest, but more about getting through that personal triumph, and it's a lot more uplifting. And I love the move on this one compared to the rest because it's just a fresh feeling of the song. I love overall how this one takes and keeps that overall construction of verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, without seeming like they're really going on to it. It's actually pretty cool. Overall, this is my favorite of the singles. It's a lot more evolved punk sound. It reminds me of a triumph over something keeping you down, along with how it breaks up any momentum. Or monotony, not momentum, breaking up monotony in the album. Like, it's a great move to have Unbreakable here. Alrighty, number 7, The Disease. This is another single. And I thought the song was all about, how people can be the disease that can take down someone, in this case, political adversary, like how Antiflag sees President Donald Trump, through persistence, participating in government, and being organized as one. This song does open more simple with Justin's vocals and more of a chant style. It's very similar to Hate Conquers All, with a few differences. The sounding anger in Hate Conquers All from Justin's vocals kind of came from the guitar using the power chords, and it's nearly not as powerful and more straightforward in sound. It has an overall slower pace as well, so it's a little bit more smoother and slower compared to Hate Conquers All. But the song goes right with the varying tones in the vocals from Justin. This is the song where he shows the most range between the softer sound to his more standard singing voice, even including some unclean screams in there. And the variance on that incredibly works well, honestly. It really does. And it works with the underlying instrumentation, as it's a very simple punk sound that allows Justin to take over and let the vocals evoke all the emotion. However, I actually thought the simplistic punk style on this instrumentation for this song was actually a drawback because you have a very complex vocal pattern with a simplistic instrumentation style, and it doesn't work out as well as it could have because it ends up holding the vocals back a bit by not amplifying them and the changes when they're needed to make. So overall, I thought the song was a missed opportunity to be great. It's a good song, but it missed the opportunity to be great because it held back Justin's vocals. Again, like I said, it's not a bad song, but it doesn't hold up to the singles like Hate Conquers All and Unbreakable. Now I'm getting into something because the eighth song in the album is a song called A Nation Sleeps. And this song is about like the current state of our economy and the band's stance on more left-wing economic build-ups or construction such as socialism versus the current state of American capitalism. And while I was when I was in college, I was an econ major and I'm much more prone to capitalism and socialism, so I'm on the other end of the spectrum. However, I absolutely love the song and how it was constructed because this is the type of punk rock that I love from Antiflag. They did not disappoint in any sense of the word in a song like this because it starts out slow with some strings, and that was freaky. I'm like, what the heck am I getting myself into? Then they go full on smoke show, classic hardcore punk. I mean, take a listen to the guitar. It's rapid, hard, gritty throughout the whole entire song. It doesn't relent up in any sense of the way. It's rough and right in your face. The drums follow suit with the rapid pace and keeping the backbeat pounding without compromise. They do the exact same thing. It's in your face. And Justin's vocals are the piece de resistance that tie the whole song together. I mean, the verses are more drawn back in his vocals, but they do have an angst in them, kind of like a Ben Burnley style, but a lot faster and like grittier and gruffer here. That's the change in the chorus perfectly. The angst is still there. The passion is still there. But then when Justin screams in the chorus, I mean, you can feel the angst like none other on the song with all the anger. Overall, A Nation Sleeps, my absolute favorite song on this album because it's rougher and grittier hardcore punk style was something that I was hoping for the band and that they would achieve with the angst around the political topics. And this is one I want to hear live. I mean, this will be insane. Now I got 3 more songs before we go to the final call. So number 9 is a song called You Make Me Sick, and this takes the band's hatred for President Trump, and it takes another angle on it, going a lot less rapid than Nation Sleeps, but still hitting the nail right on the head with this one, because it doesn't have the same rapid pace, but it's more, that hardcore punk style, but it has more of a melodic style to it. I mean, when I think of melodic punk, like this is what I think of, the guitar hits the notes at the lower end of the scale that are not drawn out in any way, but they aren't nearly as hard as they were in a Nation Sleep. So they're quick, they're rapid, but they're not drawn out as much. And the drums followed suit as well. The vocals on this one show more range, and this is just fantastic because the angst through all of the rougher screams and the normal singing really plays off well here, especially as the screams hit hard in the chorus and they mix very well. And the band mixes their classic, the whoas, ohs, and the post-chorus, and their inclusion here very much driving force in the song. And they're not overdone, honestly. It's very short. They don't use it as a crutch, and it's a perfect placement. And I think those O's like perfectly placed in a song. I mean, I'm comparing this to my favorite song, Savior by Rise Against. Like when they put the whoas in there, they just use them as an amplifier. They don't use them as the crutch, and it's perfect. Overall, the song has that rough hardcore punk angst to it that I was hoping the album would have, and it kind of went with a more melodic style too. But it's a perfect contrast between A Nation Sleeps and itself, and both songs hit you hard. Love what they did here. Now, the last 2 songs, I'm going to put it right out here for you guys. Antiflag experimented. So number 10 is Un-American. And this is a ballad that discusses the destruction of the American dream for women, talking about, with the glass ceiling, blue-collar men, factory workers losing their jobs, and minorities, specifically athletes, kind of being unjustly persecuted over the course of time. And I was absolutely shocked they went with a ballad style at all on this album. And it honestly has more of like a country twangy vibe to it, like a lot more down-home vibe. And I'm still unsure overall about it because it's so far from the band normally does, because it kind of sounds like, they took like a punk style, but they really, really were like, okay, we got to take that punk style, but we got to make it sound almost exactly like what the ending music in this movie Friday Night Lights sounded like right at the end of the movie. So if you want to know what I'm talking about, go listen to it. And in the end, I actually love what they did with this song because they're using a more drawn back country-inspired song with an acoustic following to it with the guitars, and it really allows people that don't really care about Antiflag at all and punk rock at all to really listen to it and get more of a feeling like it's gonna hit home. They don't use the whoas here as well in the post-chorus thing, or they do use, my bad. They do use them, and they work. But it does work to add a little impact here overall. So this was something I wasn't expecting overall, a country down home Antiflag song. I'm like, wait, what? but listening to it, they did a fantastic job of the experimentation. It was very well executed. And the last one is Resistance Frequencies. And this ends the album with a political statement asking who's going to stop the bomb. The bomb could easily be referring to the destruction of America. Ask who's going to be, going to resist for this from happening. And I've got one thing to say about this song. Ska. Antiflag brought in the frickin' horns. They brought in the brass section, experimented with a ska punk sound. When I first heard it, I thought, whoa. Antiflag's going ska? What is this? And that was something I wasn't expecting at all. And I love the experimentation because it really shows the fact that Antiflag has some absolutely insane range on what they can do. Because it isn't rapid and paced like other ska bands like Catch-22 or Real Big Fish have. Nor is it uplifting as Less Than Jake. It has more of like a doom and gloom ska feel to it, which is actually pretty awesome. So I thought it was like the pace of Less Than Jake, but on the opposite end of uplifting, like doom and gloom. And the vocals of this track, again, well done from Justin, because he doesn't go full angst and keeps the vocals rather clean, but they mix so well with doom and gloom ska that this is a song bound to reel you in over and over again. So overall, this is an experimentation. Again, was not expecting from Antiflag, but they absolutely knocked it out of the park. So drum roll, please. Out of 10, what am I giving Antiflag's 2020 Vision? Out of 10, I'm going to give it a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nah, I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. This is okay, let's go through this album a little bit more, talk about, the likes and dislikes. So what I liked about this album was it did use that political angst to create tracks with a lot of more hardcore punk rock emotion, which is what I was hoping for. They had that consistent political stance of being left-wing and anti-Trump. I was hoping some of that angst would really come out of the music, and oh my god, did it ever. Take a listen to Hey Conquers All. The blatant blast of harsh vocals really brings it out. It went off like a bomb sound, like it could have come off of from For Blood and Empire from the band. I really enjoyed that. A Nation Sleep with just insane hardcore punk style, and then You Make Me Sick, I should say, keeping that hardcore punk style, but making it a lot more melodic. Like just what they did there, kind of just using the political emotion to really bring that out was fantastic. And I really love the experimentation at the end of this album because they tried 2 new styles and they hit them with perfection. Like I was talking about Un-American, they go with that country down home vibe to really hit you in the heart and really kind of like, pull you, open you up like a onion, like go through the layers of, and it just has this down home feel to it. It really hits hard. And Resistance Frequency going in with like more of that doom and gloom ska. Oh, was that good. They experimented on 2 songs in this one, something completely different, and they hit them beautifully. Also, the length of this album. It's only 31 minutes long. It's got 11 tracks. But for a punk album, I absolutely love it because the songs are not going to be long. They're going to hit you hard, and that's that. They're going to come in, they're going to smack you, and then they're going to be gone. And that's what 2020 Vision is like, and I liked it. What did I dislike about the album? Because, of course, there's going to be some dislike things. The one thing to dislike was bassist Chris number 2, the fact that he did not have a song where he was, the lead vocalist. And I was hoping to get another one from Chris because one of the ones that Chris has done was This Is the End for You, My Friend, where he was the lead vocalist, which is probably Antiflag's, most popular song. And I thought about, though, I'm like, with the experimenting they did at the end, there might have been like a 3-minute song where Chris was leading the charge with his vocals. Could have been a great addition. And they may have actually tried it. I don't know. And it felt like, maybe they thought like, okay, what we have without it is better than what we have with it. Maybe 11 songs better than 12, and that was the one that got cut. Again, who knows, but I'd like to maybe have seen what would have happened there. Maybe if they come out with a deluxe edition that have something that Chris led on, then we'll know. And the middle of the album, songs 3 through 7, the overall power just lacked a little bit compared to the rest. And I thought the overall political angst in the middle of the album, the band was hitting consistently at the beginning, or versus the sound they were hitting consistently at the beginning and the end, was a lot different. It just didn't hit you nearly as hard. And it just didn't match up nearly as well. However, who knows that maybe without the middle, they went with like just straight up hard. Maybe I wouldn't like it as much. Maybe it was a good thing. Honestly, I don't know. But you listen to a full run through, it's not going to get stale. So this is my final thought on the Antiflag album before we go into a little bit more with it. But my final thought basically when it comes to Antiflag's 2020 Vision. Chris number 2, the bassist. I remember on Kerrang when they were talking about him ranking his albums from like the Antiflag albums to seeing where they wanted to be. He ranked 2020 Vision number 2 in their discography, only behind For Blood and Empire. And I was real skeptical when I saw that because I'm like, whoa, your new album, you're saying it's the second best singer it came out with? Hold up there, buddy. Let's see what happens. But once I heard it after it came out and I listened to it, I have to say, Chris was right. The band took that gruffer, rougher, angstier punk rock sound that they are known for, and they delivered. I also did some interesting experimentation Worked out incredibly well given their original sound. Mixing it with that ska to create the doom and gloom ska was amazing. Now, again, while the band and I don't see eye to eye when it comes to politics all the time, I wanted to keep that out of there when it came to the review, and I think I really did when it came to focusing on the music, because I brought it in when it came to focusing on the music and how it would affect the music, but I wasn't going to let what their views were versus what my views were really affect their view, and I think that worked out well. When it comes to punk rock, when it comes to starting out the year and starting out the decade, they couldn't have not asked for a better album to do it. Thank you, Antiflag, for creating a fantastic record for punk rock, and I'm a huge, huge fan of it. I'm going to be listening to it. This could easily be in the end of the year awards for one of the best albums of the year, and I am looking forward to it. And I mean, I just keep listening to it, guys. It's something that is insane. And I was also taking a look at another thing. We had a interview with Justin and Chris, and they were talking about, this is one of the things I've just read from Alt Press. It was throughout Antiflag's long career, have you noticed the specific differences in the audience demographics as time went on? And this is what they said. When you come to Antiflag show, the goal is to create community and for it to be fun. When I saw them, yeah, there was a good punk rock community there, and we had a crap ton of fun, so I agree with that. First time that Justin went to a punk show, you like the fact that the music was aggressive and it felt a little dangerous. What was really exciting about it was that it was just a really good time, even though it was really aggressive. People are actually looking out for each other, and I could tell there was a sense of community, and that's what pulled him in. So when they do a show, they want everyone place to have that equal opportunity to have a good time. So they just want to recreate what they felt like when they first saw their punk shows and really got into it. Everybody at the show can feel like if they came by themselves, they have an opportunity to meet someone during the show. Hell yeah, because I went by myself and had a great time. We let every show take a break to shake hands with the person next to you. Yes, they do. Put our arms around each other during a song and celebrate the fact that we are all here and can forget about the bullshit outside these walls for a couple of hours. And when I saw them, that's an absolute agreement. I mean, they hit the nail on the head with that one. They do the, shake hands with the person next to you and make a friend kind of thing. They do the put your arms around someone and just kind of chant. It's with a song. It's fun. Antiflag puts on a great show, and I can't wait to see them again. So if you guys are looking to get into some punk rock, Antiflag's 2020 vision is definitely for it. Even if you're on a different end of the political spectrum versus what they are, you just don't see eye to eye to them like I do, give it a listen, but don't take the if you're like, oh, I don't want to, I should say this. If you don't want to listen because you're like, oh, their political views are opposite of mine, don't do that. Just give it a listen, give the sound a listen, and see if you like it. If you don't, okay. If you do like it, okay. No big deal. I'm just saying, give it a shot because it's a good album. That's what I'm going to say about that. So, if you want to see the shorter review on it as well, you can go to YouTube. We'll have some stuff on there for you guys. Very fun. And we also have a couple other things I want to go and talk about. One is, so in Wisconsin, here in the great state of Wisconsin, hello, Wisconsin! We have 2 rock music festivals on the same weekend. One is in a place called Cadott, Wisconsin. One's in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Oshkosh is Rock USA, but we're talking about the one in Cadott, Wisconsin with Rockfest. Now, the reason I bring up Rockfest is because they recently announced the lineups, and I looked at them, I thought, wait, what? So I took a look at the albums, or the lineup, and I was pretty, looking at it like, maybe I should go. So take a look at this. I was taking a look at the first night, which is a Thursday, which I'm like, oh, not a Thursday, because, I still got to work a full-time job to, basically support this and support myself, because I'm not making as much money off this. So I'm like, okay, let's see what we've got. And I took a look at the first night, and Disturbed is the headliner, and their opener is Stained. I'm like, now that is good, especially because Disturbed is really hitting those rock music festivals hard this year. Their supporting acts below them, so like the better supporting acts, I should say, the more popular ones. Theory of a Dead Man. I have a chance to see Theory of a Dead Man here at the beginning of May in Milwaukee with 10 years, so I'm not sure if I'm going to do that. Hell yeah. Saint Asonia. Oh my god, I want to see Saint Asonia. I got to see Adam Gontier perform live. And Memphis Mayfire with Matty Mullins. I want to see him perform live as well. Along with Fozzy. And you guys know I like Fozzy because I always had a little bit of a wrestling fascination when I was a kid. and you got Chris Jericho in there. But this is the one that when I looked at this lineup, I'm like, oh my god, this is fantastic. You guys easily know that I like the band Gold Frankenstein. I love the girl trio. I love the sound. I love it all across the board. I love talking to them. They're great people. They're gonna be playing Thursday for Rockfest. They're on, and I can see it on the poster. I'll even point out too on the video. That's awesome. Like, I'm stoked to see him on there. Then you go take a look at the Friday, the second day, Friday, July 17th. Headliner is Slipknot. So, yeah, you're not going to go wrong there. And then you got Papa Roach as well as the opener. I'm like, okay, you're really going somewhere there. I like this. I like this a lot. You take a look at the other popular or more well-known bands. You got Anthrax, Steel Panther, Of Mice and Men, Bad Wolves, All That Remains, and Like a Storm. So I'm like, that's not a bad lineup either. The Sunday lineup, I'm a little bit more, or the Saturday lineup, I'm a little bit more, wait, what's going on here? But it's still, geez, I know it's going to be a big one where a lot of people are going to end up like kind of maybe shifting away from it because the headliner is Limp Bizkit. There's a lot of people that are going to end up shifting away because it's Limp Bizkit. They're not going to want to watch Limp Bizkit. That's just the way it ends up being. Their opener, it's coming on January 24th, so who knows who that's going to be. But the other popular bands that are going to be there are Chevelle, who I've seen, Hollywood Undead, who I still want to see, Avatar, who I want to see. Well, I've seen Hollywood Undead a couple of times. And We Came as Drums will be seen in like April 10th or something, or 11th. I don't even know. I'll be seeing him at some point. But I looked at the lineup and I thought, well, I'm very curious to see now what Rock USA is going to look like, because a lot of the times the bands that play at Rockfest end up playing a night at Rock USA as well, or a day. And I might go that, I might not. Basically because I've talked with my buddy Chris. I think I've had him on the show beforehand. And as he told me, he's like, I'm not a big fan of how they set up the seating for Rock USA and Rockfest, because you have to buy specific tickets to get into the pit. And it's like, well, why would you do that? What versus someone like, Riot Fest in Chicago, where it was just, that was the kind of festival you want to go to, because it's just wide open and, just there's only standing room. There's no specific VIP seats. And I just thought it was absolutely insane and awesome. And I think something's going on here, so I'm going to take a quick break, but you guys are not going to notice that anything is wrong. So just give me a second, and I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm back. Yeah, it took a little bit of time to fix that, but for you guys who didn't even know that I was gone, I fixed it like that. Alrighty, well, we went through Antiflag, we went through a little bit of Rockfest, but really the only other thing that I think that happened was, well, I got to talk about this because this is actually kind of funny. So, you guys know I love to go to concerts. And so far, I haven't been to one since I saw the Devil Wears Prada headline with Norma Jean. This was back in November of 2019, middle of November. What the heck, guys? Kevin, you're not going to concerts? Well, I will end that next week. Well, this week, I should say, on Friday, when I get to see Skillet. Yeah, I can see Skillet again. That's going to be us. They're playing after a Milwaukee Admirals game, which is interesting. And the fact of the matter is one of my buddies works for the team, and he's getting me an on-ice pass. So I actually should be getting some good close-up video for you folks. But one thing I've been looking at with concert schedule, I'm like, okay, there's going to be, I know there's going to be a month where it's I'm going to want to go to a show every weekend. I'm going to end up blowing a lot of money on this. But I know it's going to happen, and do I just lean into it or do I not lean into it? Well, the month has been found, guys. The month has been found, and that month is May 2020. So I'll tell you which ones I have the tickets for, which ones I don't have the tickets for, and if I'll go to them. So the first one, May 2nd, 2020. They're all at the Rave here in Milwaukee. Who's the opener? It's 10 years and the headliner, Theory of a Dead Man. I do not at this point have tickets for that show. And the reason I'm not sure if I want to go is because the last time two times I've seen 10 years, when I saw them as an opener, they opened for Chevelle, they were all right. When I saw them as a headliner with Tremonti opening for them, they were not that good. Tremonti was awesome though. But 10 years at that point was not that. I've never seen Theory of a Dead Man, and I'm really just not sure what to expect from Theory of a Dead Man. I just don't know. I'm not sure if I really want to go. May 9th. This was just announced this week, and I ended up getting all my friends like the pre-sale code for it because I'm not sure if they want to go. Apparently, there's gonna be a lot of us going to this one on May 9th. Volbeat is gonna be here, and I know you guys probably like, oh my god, Kevin, you going to see Volbeat after you thought their album was disappointing? Yeah, I still like Volbeat though. I'm gonna go listen to their stuff. I want to go see them live, so I had to go see Volbeat live. Then on May 16th, Ginger is gonna be here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to go see Ginger. Mostly because I don't know much of Ginger's stuff. And I'm just not sure what to expect from them. Is Ginger. I mean, I've heard some of their stuff. Like, I know what it's like, but I'm like, I'm just not sure if I really want to go. Again, I like the music, but it's just, I'm not sure if I want to blow the money on it. And then, now this was the tough one. May 23rd. It's another Saturday. I'm supposed to be in Indianapolis for the Indy 500 with my dad and my brother, but we have no idea what's going on with tickets. So I bought this ticket just to be on the safe side, because if I don't go, then I'm set and ready to go to this concert. The opener is the Amity Affliction, but it's the headliner I desperately want to see, and that is Sleeping with Sirens. You guys know I really liked How It Feels to Be Lost album. You guys know that I actually like Sleeping with Sirens a good deal, and I really want to see them live. I know they just recently played in Chicago, but because it was like during the week, I wasn't going to go during the week. I missed the Disease in Disguise tour with Most Slight and Beartooth for the same reason. But I was like, dang, I really, 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 really want to go to this. So what do? Do I tell my dad, I don't want to go to Indy anymore because there's a concert? Or do I, buy the ticket just to be on the safe side? I have no idea what to do. So that's my decision. I bought the ticket knowing for a fact that I have someone out there that will buy the ticket for me at the price I paid for it, because one of my friends is going, and he's got a couple other friends that are going too, and one of those friends is like, wasn't sure if he's going to be able to go. I told him, hey man, I'll buy a ticket for me. If I can't go, I'll just sell you my ticket, and then we don't have to worry about that. And he's like, okay, cool. He's like, but what if you can't go? I'm like, then you're on your own, motherfucker. But do I tell my dad I don't want to go to Indy anymore? No, I do want to go and watch the race with my dad. That's something that him and I like to do, and my brother's going to go along with, and it's something that we were supposed to do last year, but my brother didn't go, so it's just my dad and I, and we're going to do it this year. So I already committed to it. So I may have to miss Sleeping with Sirens, but I'm interested to see also what happens, what these summer festivals are going to be more like, if I can get to any of them, what Riot Fest is going to be like, who's coming at the second half, or towards the end of 2020, because the first half of 2020 is looking to be pretty built up. I'm still waiting to see Ice Nine Kills again, though, and Rise Against, and Disturbed. And I started out with Ice Nine Kills now, because I've been still listening to a lot of Ice Nine Kills. Oh, yeah! They're great music to work out to, my God. But on that note, you know what? I thought about it, and I think that's actually going to be it for the podcast today. We went through a good deal when it came to Antiflag and 2020 Vision. I hope you guys liked. You can watch the review also on YouTube starting Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Central. Trust me, it'll be much more composited, and you'll be talking about different things as well instead of going song by song, because that's a lot, but you guys will like it. You guys should go check it out if you have the time. So thank you for listening again to the Chord Progression Podcast, brought to you by My Song Day Rock 2000 today. Always happy to have you guys here. And yeah, so this is Kevin from the Chord Progression Podcast, brought to you by My Song Day Rock 2000 today. Wait, I should say the Chord Progression Podcast, essentially. My Sunday Rock 2000 day. You guys know me, it's Kevin, and you know how I end all of these with a big, grand see ya. Whoa, what happened to the volume there? Oh well, see ya.